Well, Australia has spectacularly been dragged into America's trade war, with the White House confirming in just the past hour that it would not be exempt from tariffs on aluminium and steel. It comes amid dramatic developments overnight, where billions of dollars have been wiped from the US stock markets, and that will likely trigger another sell-off here.
The US President Donald Trump has doubled down overnight despite fears he could be leading America into a recession. He's announced he'll double the tariffs for Canada, while the White House says after much consideration, no country will be exempt from the 25% levy due to come into effect today. Let's go straight to our North America correspondent, Carrington Clark, in our Washington, D.C. bureau. G'day, Carrington. You've heard directly from White House officials this morning. What have they told you?
Yeah, I've just come from the private office of Donald Trump's press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, who has categorically ruled out Australia receiving a last-minute reprieve from these sweeping 25% tariffs on aluminium and steel imports into the United States. Remember that Prime Minister Anthony Albanese asked directly to President Trump for Australia to be exempt. Donald Trump said he would give great consideration to that request, but Karoline Leavitt says that he considered it and considered against it. She says the reason is American steel, and that if Australian companies want to be exempt, they should think about moving their steel production to the United States. Now, this sets up an interesting conundrum for the Australian government. They have said that they won't be partaking in tit-for-tat retaliatory tariffs, as other countries have suggested they will do against the United States. But given that Australia is not receiving an exemption and that this will hurt both Australian steel and aluminium companies as well as the workers, that it sets up a question for the Australian government about what is the appropriate response to Donald Trump's sweeping new tariffs.
And Carrington, one of the big stories in North America today is the trade war, but especially the fight with Canada, because Donald Trump has decided to ratchet things up another notch.
Yeah, and this is a fast-moving situation, James. We've actually had now confirmation that Ontario, which is a very large state within the United States, and really this was set off on the Premier of Ontario saying that they would be slapping a 25% surcharge on electricity that they were sending to American customers in retaliation to these tariffs that Donald Trump has slapped on Canada. That apparently the Premier is now backing away from that threat, given that Donald Trump was threatening to further ratchet up the tariff war against Canada. But the context is important here. Canada is soon to go to a federal election, a national election, and the ruling party, which for so long was trailing badly in the polls, has received this burst of enthusiasm from the Canadian public because they are taking a hard line against Donald Trump, effectively saying they will be opposing him on these tariffs, on this economic coercion, as Donald Trump seemingly seeks to make Canada the 51st state of America, which again, he said today, was the best possible outcome. So this is a domestic political issue for the Canadians, but also obviously has major implications for global trade. And as I said, this is literally changing hour to hour here in the United States.